Hello, this is John Pavall with an Access Arts Live special edition because this Thursday it has come to our attention that there are two fireworks orchestral live streams going on. One of them is in Hanover, Germany, and one of them is in Wellington, New Zealand. But because of the way the timing works, both of them will be available to American viewers and to European viewers, depending on what their time schedule is like for one or the other. So I want to tell you about both of them because they're both highly interesting. The first of them is tonight. Today is Thursday, November 14th, by the way, and it's 4:30 in the evening here in Europe, in Stockholm, where it's already pitch black at night this time of year, 4:30 in the afternoon. So we got fun. And we're just getting started. By the time we get to mid-December, it'll be worse. Anyway, the first one is with the Hanover NDR Radio Orchestra. And it is at 8 o'clock this evening, Thursday, European time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast. You can plug it in during your lunchtime, 11 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. It's free of charge on YouTube. We give you the live link. You can just click on it and listen to it while you're at work or whatever it is you're doing. And it is a Rimsky-Korsakov evening, basically, with the addition of a terrific Russian composer who you may not know well, but whom I urge you to get to know. Okay, so first of all, let me, the conductor is a Russian conductor. The Russians are everywhere these days, you know. They're back in fashion in the classical world. The conductor is Stanislav Kochanovsky, who is the head guy at the Hanover Radio Orchestra, and he's picked out a couple of Rimsky-Korsakov orchestral suites, both of which are based on sort of legendary or folk tale-ish kind of sources. They'll be doing the suite for orchestra, The Legend of the Invisible City of Kitesh, and then they'll be doing his very well-known Scheherazade, Opus 35, which is based on 1001 Nights, of course. So these are very fairy tale-ish things. But in between those things, what I want to underscore for you is the pianist whom he has with him, who is Nikolaj Lugansky. And there he is. You don't see him on Instagram, but they see him on our other platforms. There he is, looking very like a romantic Russian from the 19th century, this poetic look on his face. Anyway, what I can tell you about Lugansky, whom I have not heard, I can tell you what the French newspaper Le Monde, which is a cultural arbiter of sorts, said about him. They said Lugansky is not simply the most wonderful Russian pianist of modern times. He is one of the most outstanding artists of our epoch. And by that, they mean now. So I can commend that to you, especially since it's free of charge. What reason on earth would you have for not tuning it in on your phone even while you're at work or doing other things? So check that out. Now, a little later in the evening, sort of much later in the evening for those of you in the U.S., okay, the change in times with Australia and New Zealand going on daylight time and the U.S. going off daylight time means that often concerts in Australia and New Zealand are going to be in prime time in parts of the United States. This is the case with Friday evening's concert with the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, which will be at 6:30 in the evening in New Zealand, but that will be a little after midnight, 12:30 a.m. on the East Coast tonight, Thursday, and 9:30 p.m. Prime time on the West Coast, Pacific Standard Time. And they're doing a concert of Rachmaninov, Bartók, and Auerbach, Lera Auerbach. So let me tell you a little bit about this concert, which I think is really going to be terrific. Lera Auerbach, I think I have a picture of her for you. She is an American composer, another one of the women composers that are starting to come to the fore, and we're finding about all kinds of music, which many of us did not know about. I have to say, I am one. I did not know there were that many women composers. You know, we knew about Amy Beach, you know, so a few others. Florence Price, but these are in the last 20, 30 years, composers. And she wrote a piece called Icarus, which is having its New Zealand premiere. It's only 12 minutes long, but it's worth tuning in for this alone. Icarus, is the story of the classical story of the man who fashioned wings so that he could fly, but they were held together with wax. And when he flew too close to the sun, the wax melted, and well, that was the end of Icarus. I have heard this piece, and it's magnificent. It is exciting. The instrumentation. It was commissioned by the Dusseldorf Symphony Orchestra. Okay, and she's done a lot of pieces on commission. She's not a total newcomer. She is an accomplished composer who I urge you to discover. The instrumentation includes several piccolos and alto flutes, English horns, bass clarinets, a timpani, 5 other kinds of percussion, including bells, crystal glasses, amplified, etc., 2 harps, etc. And when you hear it, you'll just, I think you'll just love it. So I would recommend tuning in to discover this composer. Now, the pianist, the solo pianist here, is another one of these great pianists. Here he is. This is Alexander Gavrylyuk, who is Ukrainian Australian, but he's been in Australia a long time. He's not one of the recent war refugees. He's been described as a stunningly virtuosic pianist, recognized for his electrifying and poetic performances. Born in Ukraine in 1984, but he holds Australian citizenship. He's about 40 years old then, so he's in his prime, and he really got some stellar reviews for a performance he did of Rachmaninoff in 2017 at the BBC Proms, playing the Piano Concerto No. 3. And he's played with all the top orchestras around the world, at all the top festivals and recital halls. He was the artist in residence at Wigmore Hall in 23-24, just last year. And he also has as his recital partner, Janine Jensen. And now, if you know how fabulous Janine Jensen is, I can only imagine how great that is. And I have to check it out and see, since I live in Europe, when they're going to be playing somewhere where I can hear them. So he's going to be playing this guy. He'll be playing Rachmaninoff. The Russians are everywhere, like I said. And he'll be playing Rachmaninov's Rhapsody on a theme of Paganini. And then after they're done with that, then I did not mention to you yet, perhaps, that the conductor conducting the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra is the August Vasily Petrenko from the Berlin Phil. And in the second half of the concert, they'll be doing this guy. They'll be doing Bela Bartók's Concerto for orchestra, which is an exceptional and unusual piece, because usually concertos are not for orchestras, they're for an instrumentalist. So I think this is a concert which is sure to be fireworks. Now, I need to point out to you, it's not free of charge from the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra. They oblige you to register and to buy a monthly, which is cancelable, a monthly digital subscription, which costs $5.95 New Zealand dollars. That's $3.75 in US dollars, or $3.40 in euros, so it's next to nothing, and it's 10% of what it would cost you to walk in the door of this concert in person. So this is what we have for you today, and I wanted to do this special edition to remind you about it and circulate about it, so you didn't miss one or the other of these terrific live streams coming. One of them free of charge, one of them next to nothing, less than the cost of a pack of cigarettes. Like 1/4 the cost of going to the movies, and you get it all in the comfort of your home, with excellent imagery and videos. And I want to point out to you again, when you're watching a live stream, it's not like watching a recording. When you watch a recording, nobody else is involved. The artists aren't there. They've gone fishing, they're having lunch, they're visiting family, who knows? But they're doing nothing for you at the time you're watching. And there's no other audience around it that's sharing the experience. You're just by yourself looking at something, And you can use your imagination to imagine more, but it isn't more. But when you tune into these live streams, you're part of the audience that these living, breathing artists they're pouring out their hearts, minds, and souls in an act of love to create an experience of truth and beauty for you and everybody else in the audience to share together with them. That is a magnificent social moment. which I encourage you to take part in, either in person or remotely, not to support the orchestras, to support you. And I hope you enjoy these orchestral fireworks that I'm telling you about. Subscribe to us on YouTube especially, and we'll make sure you get all the news about all the upcoming live streamings from week to week and from day to day like I'm doing right now.